Technical difficulties.
All right, I think we're live here. Well, hi y'all. Thanks again for joining us today to talk about barbecue. I'm super excited to hear from everyone. I'm Jennifer, Executive Director of the Fondy Food Center, the nonprofit that operates the Fondy Farmers Market. And as you all know, this past weekend, we would have had the BBQ Fest if it weren't for the pandemic that we're going through. And we would have hoped to have all of you at that event, either as judges of the barbecue cook-off or as vendors selling your delicious barbecue to our customers. So I'll be looking forward to having that either later in the year, but probably really not until 2021. For now, we thought it would be great to gather everyone together and talk about barbecue, how folks can get out there and get it and support your businesses and talk about history and styles and such. So our moderator for our discussion today is the esteemed Tarik Moody. Many people know him, well, Tarik, many people know you as a DJ for 88.9, but you're also something of a celebrated foodie. I think we can say that, right?
Something like that, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you speak about it, you write about it. In fact, I brought out my old issue of Edible Milwaukee with one of our friends, a longtime BBQ Fest judge as well.
I still don't know how he got on the cover, and I didn't.
Next time.
Kind of messed up.
We'll talk with Arthur about that. But one of the reasons we wanted to invite you to moderate the panel is that you wrote this amazing article featuring a couple of our panelists on the call today. A Tale of Two Styles, Milwaukee Barbecue. So thanks for being with us.
Sure.
And I'm gonna pass the reins over to you.
Cool. Again, my name is Tarik, 88.9 Radio Milwaukee. And yeah, we're gonna cover a lot of things about barbecue, everything from history to which style is better, to what each of you panelists, what styles you like, and talk about your relationship to barbecue, what it means to you. But real quick, I wanna do kind of an introduction get a little quick introduction for everybody here that's on the Partridge family. Is it Partridge family? The family? Brady Bunch. Brady Bunch family, yeah. So let's start with Allison and Kevin. Give me a little introduction and background about you two.
Hey, well, we started in 2013. I was a welder then, so we only started part-time. And we started at Fondy Farmers Market. And we're pretty much Texas-style barbecue. Plus we do, Allison does all the vegan and vegetarian for us. So we do have vegan and vegetarian barbecue. And, right now we're at South Shore Farmers Market. We do Brown Deer Farmers Market. And then we set up outside of the Cactus Club Saturday evening. And we scaled back a little bit, but we got some other stuff in, so that's pretty much it.
Cool.
Unless Allison got something.
And we're hoping to see you back at the Milwaukee Winter Farmers Market this November.
We're hoping too. We're hoping.
And then let's go to Jason of Heaven's Table. Give me a little introduction and background about you.
Started Heaven's Table back in 2018, but I've been cooking since I was 13. And then working for Surge, Jarvis pulled me to the side one day and told me to stop struggling in life, and decided to start working on my barbecue craft. And I've been really working on it. Pretty much everywhere I went, he kind of followed me. It's kind of a passion of mine, and just was appreciative for the fact to be able to put my vision on the platform to serve the people. So I want to say one of my first competitions was at Fondy, so that was kind of like my my debut.
And you won. You brought home that trophy.
Next is, since I did a story about Jason, and also did a story together with Alex. Give me a little background about you, Alex.
Yeah, we started SapSap 4 years ago as an extension of Mama's Egg Rolls. We started selling my mom's egg rolls, at vending events or whatnot. But then we moved into pop-up dinners, And ever since the pop-up dinner, we kind of got popular over the pop-up dinners, and now we're doing curbside here in Racine, some collaborations in Milwaukee in the future, kind of all over the place. There's really a lot of organized confusion.
Cool. Then let's start with John. Your background, who you are, and what's your relationship to barbecue?
Sure. So I am a Southerner from Georgia, just like Tarik is. I'm from Stone Mountain, where Jarvis has roots too. And my entire family is from Eastern North Carolina. So I'm partial to Eastern North Carolina barbecue. I think that, that's just my upbringing. Vinegar-based sauce, that's my whole thing. And I don't cook, but I eat, obviously. And my parents are really big, and my dad especially, has like all the big green eggs in the world and does all that. And my uncles and everybody, they all smoke and cook a ton of barbecue and meat all the time. And so, but being a part of Fondy, this is definitely something that I'm interested in. Coming up here, it's just me. My whole family is down south, and I'm consistently looking for great barbecue. I've always wanted to try SapSap. I haven't had the pleasure of Junior's. Obviously, Jason sees me consistently. And between Jason and Pops on 76 and Good Hope Road, that's probably where I go to get my fix, more or less. But I'm proud to see this, and I'm excited to see and to partake in the talent of all the people involved, and anything I can do to help. And if there's a plate to be had, I'm there to take it. So.
Cool. And finally, definitely not least, Jarvis. A little background on your relationship to barbecue.
Yeah. Well, my relationship to barbecue, it's been around my family for, forever, since I was a kid. Can't necessarily say that we ever tied ourselves to a style. So that's not really something I honestly paid that much attention to. In my family, kind of thinking about it, as you guys were telling your stories, we have a lot of grills in our family that's been around for quite a bit of time, and it's not getting covered up during the winter, and it doesn't get covered when it's raining, and yet whenever somebody wants to grill, it's fired up and it's going. So a lot of different shapes of grills and styles of grills, and then you see them obviously today, you got so many different collaborations you could do on the grill. So the styles can differ in your smoking and quick braisings and things like that, even quick grilling. So just tying that all in and also being in the industry myself is a good kind of bow tie on the history of barbecue and how it ties directly to my family and to myself. So the things that I would like in barbecue is just more aggressiveness, heavy smoke and seasonings. And then, I think that the passion and the identity for everybody's barbecue can be truly tied to what they are. And that's always what I appreciate for barbecue. And basically, there's really no bad, I really can't say that there's something like so turn off for me not to enjoy the barbecue. That's kind of how I just view food in general. But there's favorites and things like that. But for the most part, man, when it comes to barbecue, it's just, the more you give to me, the better. So. Cool.
Let's start off this question. It's a controversial question. Right off the bat. John can relate, since we're both from the South. The history of barbecue is very complicated and interesting. According to Michael Twitty, it was, what we know as American style barbecue was created by enslaved people with contributions from Native Americans and some techniques from Europe. And all the different styles of the South came from those enslaved people. And so barbecue has been known as a Southern thing, Southern styles and all that. And I know people from the South who know in the Midwest ask me, is there such thing as good barbecue in the Midwest, right? And there's styles in North Carolina. Does the Midwest feel like I've asked a couple of you this, have a distinguished style. Can you describe, if somebody from Georgia or North Carolina, Texas comes to Milwaukee, how would you describe your barbecue to them and convince them that this is authentic and real barbecue?
Oh man, that's.
Anybody can go. Take it.
I mean, well, I'll say this. I'll say that, for me, like, it always has like a thin kind of like glaze on it to finish it. It's always a little tacky, whether it's the cure that kind of creates its own lacquer, or a lot of people like to either they're doctoring the sauce, or a lot of people now they're making their own sauces, obviously, and spices and rubs. But it's never so like where the skin is just, just seasoned and then it doesn't really protrude any kind of liquid or glaze, or therefore turn it into a sauce. So that's something that I've really paid attention to here. I think that's something that's been close to, honestly, that's what I do myself. Like I, personally like to have just a thin glaze of the sauce, just something to adhere all the seasonings and kind of be a glass door to flavor right behind it. So I think that when I think of Midwest barbecue, I kind of think of like that sheen, kind of glaze of whatever the cut is gonna be.
Anybody else want to chime in? I think you're muted,
Well,
Jason.
I am. Let me see.
Oh, no, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Got me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think for me, the amazing thing is that in some assets, in some ways, it's still to be determined. And I think a lot of people here, particularly in Milwaukee, we're defined by how we finish it, and whether or not some of us choose to. And I think that the good thing is that there's no standard here. Everybody has their own technique. Everybody has their own method, and I would say everybody knows their go-to here. Not to say that anyone's bad or whatever the case is. What I've found traveling is that the question that you asked is accurate, because everybody else seems to have their identity and the thing that they do the best. John talked about vinegar based, and you go to Tennessee, a lot of people do dry rub, you go to Kansas City, it's sauce and heavy ingredients. In Texas, they only use like salt, pepper, and garlic. So with our concept, I kind of took a little bit of each style and kind of made it my own, whether it was the way I finished. I took in, whether starting from the base was their style and finishing it was my own technique. Having a culinary background and having a degree in culinary kind of helped as well. So I think our mission was to develop a style that was unique, but kind of similar to what different regions offer. So, and I think we had this conversation, Tarik, like, it's honestly, man, it's to be determined. Aaron stepped out there and did the Milwaukee rib,
Mm-hmm.
No one did that before, You can literally go anywhere in this country, in this beautiful country, and see different techniques that they're doing that'll blow people's mind if you bring it back here, So it's an unending technique. You can always come up with new creative ideas. Alex tapping into some good things himself now, and I think the important thing is tapping into your history and bringing your history and your past, whether it's family, grandparents, uncles, and making it your own and presenting it to people how they served it with your twist, obviously.
How about you, Kevin? Allison?
well, with us, we didn't have St. Louis, we didn't have Carolina, we didn't have Checkers, and with Wisconsin, you're right. Wisconsin doesn't have an identity with barbecue. It's basically all over the place, in a sense. That's why we went Texas style. just for example, a couple of weeks ago, we had a lady that's a KCB judge, and she came to see us at the market.
At South Shore.
At South Shore Farmers Market, and
She didn't tell us who she was either, so you'll know.
yeah, she had it first, and she came back and got some more. She went back, and she came back for a third time and said, I've been up here, and I done had pretty much everybody's barbecue, and this is the closest that I have had to Texas-style barbecue in the Midwest. That's why we're smokers and not grillers, because it's two different styles. Grilling and smoking is two different things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I always wanted to do was smoke. And the first grill we got is what she bought me. And I taught myself how to smoke. Literally taught myself how to smoke. They ate barbecue 24/7. And until I perfected to what we have now. So, and both of us have a culinary background. And Allison is a culinary teacher for MPS. And
I don't know, we just enjoy doing it so much. It's people think it's easy, but it's not.
No.
I remember there's been a couple of times I've done a brisket and I thought it was done. It wasn't quite done. And, you know, it's a learning thing. You perfect it as you're going on. It gets better over time. What can you say? It's not textbook.
And two, my dream was always to be a pitman. And I think I pretty much reached that level to call myself a pitmaster now.
Cool. Before I get to Alex, who is kind of a unique take on barbecue, we'll get into that. But real quick, what made you decide of all the styles you tried, why did you choose Texas barbecue instead of Kansas City or Carolina?
Well, we got family in Texas, and when he come here, we want him to have the same barbecue that he has down there.
Okay.
So, and me personally, I thought Texas style was the best style out there.
Not quite in any other styles, but it's just what our preference was.
Yeah.
Okay. Alex.
One of the things, I'm sorry.
You had a question?
No, I was going to say, I think one of the things that is the benefit of being in Wisconsin is that you don't have to be boxed into a style. Like if you were in Texas and you try to do something different, it's going to be out of the box. So you have juniors, so Allison and Kevin are doing, vegan and vegetarian things. Alex is doing Laotian style ribs. And then I remember going to Jason and getting a lamb brisket. These are things that you couldn't do if you were in Eastern North Carolina or in Kansas City because they're too out of the box. True. So having the opportunity to kind of work through your own sort of flavor profiles. I mean, Alex has a fried chicken and bacon banh mi sandwich. Those are all these different cultures coming together at one time that can only kind of happen when there's not some sort of dominating sort of underlying theme to everything, I guess, if that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Because to me, I guess, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of like your favorite sports team, right? And kind of that rivalry of saying what's better. Milwaukee's kind of being left out of that kind of conversation of going Kansas City can't compete with Milwaukee style or so that's the part of me that I wish Milwaukee did have a unifying style because I can say, hey, Kansas City can't compete with, or North Carolina can't compete with. So, but yeah, I agree with you, John, on the diversity. Going to you, Alex. So you're not really, we talked about the kind of brief history of American barbecue, but you're not really doing American barbecue. Talk to me about what makes Laotian barbecue different than American barbecue.
I think what makes it different is definitely we don't use smoke on our proteins. We don't low and slow it. It's ultimately the flavors that we put on there. I mean, the marinade we put on our, let's say, ribs, it doesn't adhere well to smoke. So literally you're just getting a slow render or a slow cook of the ribs, but not as long as traditional Western barbecue would go. Barbecue, like, I hate to say, like, so barbecue to us just means cooking over flames. I mean, there's really no technique behind it. Cooking over flames and having family and friends over. Every weekend, my dad and his friends would get together in the backyard and, you know, barbecue, make side dishes. So I guess for SapSap, the barbecue thing for us is getting people together around a table, sharing food, and ultimately putting our flavors on there and introducing them to our culture, what happened in Laos, and having the food be the medium between that.
Cool.
I just wanted to say, if I can, real quick, Tarik,
Sure.
I always felt like that barbecue in Milwaukee, just speaking for Milwaukee out of our state, is going to be an adaptive kind of fashion for barbecue. You can go 20 minutes in any direction, 30 minutes in any direction, and you're going to see the flavors kind of change. Now, when you're talking as far as businesses are concerned, but I feel like if you go to, even on the north side, if you go into a lot of the backyards, you're going to see a lot of the traditional smokings that's going on. And I'm not sure if that's happening in the other neighborhoods in Milwaukee, but the locale for flavor can be more community-based as opposed to business-based in Milwaukee. And I feel like that is one of the differences with barbecue in Milwaukee, because we're getting so many influences, and then we want to turn it into a technicality. We want to turn it into a business. So, one thing that you want to do with that is going to make it consistent. So, when people are getting, their barbecue Texas inspired and Carolina inspired, you're obviously, I feel like you're definitely going to have to make your adaptation to Milwaukee to make sure that people have your kind of infusion behind it, so I just wanted to make sure that I said that, because I was thinking that the whole time. And also my first brisket was, it was just so hard, man. I called you, Jason. I was like, I need help, man. So I get it. Like, it's definitely respected. No, not at all.
Hey, my first one was red. It wasn't even brown. So.
Well, my first one was just perfect, so I don't know. Maybe it's my Southern DNA. Real quick, I had a question about one style I don't see here, but Speed Queen. Most people know who Speed Queen is. It kind of been the, people think of Milwaukee as Speed Queen. What style is Speed Queen closely related to you? What is it? Is there a style to Speed Queen that's?
You know what? I don't think so. I think Speed Queen is just Speed Queen. I don't know.
So
I feel like
me and Allison was having that discussion the other day.
Yeah, it's been there for so long. It's so historic. It's been there for so long, and I think that for me, saying from in Milwaukee, it's that same thing. It's that glaze. It's that kind of finishing sauce that's over the top of it, and but with the consistency, it's just hard to say what they are. I mean, other than just being long-standing and consistent.
Okay, because I was kind of curious. Like, we had this conversation, and I'm just like, what's Speed Queen? Like, it's not really Texas. It's not really Carolina. It's maybe it is
a
Milwaukee thing, huh?
Right.
At least their sauce is very Milwaukee.
Jason. You can't hear you.
Oh,
Jason,
yeah, most definitely.
I'm gonna say, correct me if I'm wrong, but Speed Queen to me is like going to a relative's house and your uncle's the one, with the flippers on. He on the grill cooking something, tell you to try it. So it just kind of reminds me of like being around family or something like that.
Okay. I can see that. I definitely taste that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The one style I don't see here that people don't do, which I'm still surprised that I haven't seen it yet, is what Rodney Scott and Carolina is known for: whole hog barbecue. Why do you think Milwaukee? See, Milwaukee does Texas. There's Carolina. There's like all styles here, but I haven't seen anybody least I haven't, unless you know, tackle the whole hog, the skin, everything. Why you think that is? Or if there is, are there people doing it?
Number one, I think to do whole hog, you have to have a grill or a smoker that can hold that. And then that's a lot of meat to process. You know, where would you go with all of that? That's a lot of meat. Kevin's done a whole hog.
I love doing whole hog.
He loved doing it, but we had so much meat left over. We had like 80 people.
It's a big
and
investment.
we still had meat for days. Like we were making
Yeah.
these expensive. That's designed for a larger gathering.
Yeah.
That's just me and personal. I'm not to say I don't like doing it, but I don't want to waste anything either. And
Yeah,
you can't waste it unless you have a large group of people.
I agree.
Because it's like you see it, the joints in the South, especially Carolina, they're all around. They seem to sell out their whole hog.
They do.
Is it just the
I
fact
think
that
it has a lot
people?
to do with like the popularity. I don't think that Eastern North Carolina has the popularity that like a Texas or Kansas City has. Like that style is just a lot more prevalent, you know, kind of nationwide. Like in Eastern North Carolina, barbecue isn't just, you know, an activity. It's like an actual dish, like chopped up barbecue. You know, like and you don't see that anywhere in the country outside of North Carolina. You know, like, you know, that's just, I grew up eating hush puppies and chopped barbecue sandwiches from my parents, you know, because that's what they grew up on. And that hasn't really moved around the country as well as like, you know, brisket from Texas or, you know, those thick sweet sauces from, you know, Kansas City and whatnot. So that's
The reason
my
I think
thought.
that, because it's like most of the barbecue in the Midwest, people brought it during the Great Migration, right? And and you would think some of the people who were part of the Eastern Carolinas came up would have brought it up with them. But again, maybe you're right. People not used to having that much meat and skin and head to toe kind of in there. You know, they like the pork shoulder to keep it simple. Real quick before we go to, like I want to talk about, you know, the term barbecue and advice for people that want to get into it. Let's talk about Chicago real quick. Chicago has a style, right? Or does it? It seems like it's known for barbecue in the Midwest. Or like, does anybody know, like, because I see a lot about Chicago barbecue, like Chicago, like, oh, we're great at barbecue, but do they?
Well, I feel like I can't, would you, go ahead, Jason, I can't hear you.
No, I was gonna say I think they kind of like in the same book we are, but a little further ahead. Chicago really adapted to rib tips, and they even do a style called turkey tips that a lot of people are kind of adopting here. And Chicago, you know, a lot of those places they're known for their sausage, like so they incorporate all that stuff in with their barbecue also. And most places in Chicago, they're sauce drenchers, bro. Like they giving it to you on Friday. Your barbecue, and then half a gallon of sauce. You know what I mean? Like how they like it, you know. So I would say that's probably their style. They like to incorporate a lot of their local sausages and things like that into their food.
Well, I'm glad you said that because you topped my answer. So I'm gonna piggyback what he said.
So let's go to like people out there, you know. I think who brought it up? I think you might have brought it, Kevin. I can't remember I think it was about grilling and barbecue, different things, but people say it like, I'm going to go barbecue and put some brats on the grill, and that's not barbecue. So explain if someone like sees you, Jason, or Kevin out there is like, hey, I want to get into that. Like, what would you tell them to do? How, like, they've never done it before. What should they be first step in getting involved in becoming a serious pitmaster barbecue? What should they start off first?
And I'm your audience here because I'm really interested in getting into barbecuing. But so far, it's, you know, the Polish sausages and brats that I grew up grilling in Chicagoland. So yes, walk me through. How do I start controlling the fire?
Because I assume first thing is tell them to throw away the propane, right?
Oh, most definitely.
Definitely no propane.
Go ahead,
I
Jason.
don't know. I kind of think ribs.
Oh.
I think ribs are the easiest thing to start off with. I think that's the first thing that I perfected. What would you say yours was?
Well, I tell you, before I started smoking, I was a terrible griller.
You would burn it, set it on
I
fire.
literally would burn everything on the grill. Would have a party at the house, and people would have to take over the grill for them.
Yeah, but you can't drink and grill. Drinking and grilling is not a good thing. So if we're going to get the first tip, do not have anybody on your smoker or grill that's been drinking. Guaranteed to get burnt food. I don't know, like I said, I think ribs. You just, I always get people to ask me all the time, like, make sure you pull that skin off, make sure you give it a good rub, and, get the color and the lacquer you want, wrap that puppy up and let it finish off, and you got a chance of having some good ribs.
Well, it's all about controlling the fire, right? So how
Yeah.
do I do that?
I want to say you go ahead. I want to say the first thing
Well, I think that
is maintain a fire and learn how to maintain an amber bed with smoke. It depends on what kind of style you're doing. Like some people smoke with the coals under, some people smoke indirect. So you got to really learn the device that you're using. And I went right for the hardest thing at first. I went for brisket first. And like I said, I tell the story many times. I used every wood known to man, and I never wrapped it the whole time. So when I actually went to cut it, thinking it was great, like it tastes like tree bark, because I didn't know. So then that's when your studying starts. You got to fail to pass the test, right? So from there, studying and reading and more trial, more error, more things like that. It's going to take time, but just stay consistent, stay at it. So definitely maintaining that fire is very important. So.
Yeah, and I would say it's maintaining that fire. A little bit more into that would be the control of the embers. So if you are working with wood as your primary source, a lot of people compare that to barbecue or something quick grilling, and it's the opposite, because the wood needs to die down and turn into an ember, and that's where the consistency of the fire would really come from. So a lot of people, I would say that when you are smoking, it's going to be a preparation, because you're going to make that fire, it's going to enlarge, and then you have to wait till it starts to die, until it starts to level out. And then at that point, it is heat control. There's a lot of ventilation. There's so many different ventilations that even the grill or smoker will give you, but sometimes that won't be enough depending on where you are and how much, shield or wall is around you. So what I learned on my smoker is that, the vents on the firebox itself and the vent and the smoke chamber for the grill itself, I have to put something in the door to even give it more airflow or more ventilation, so I can get more consistent with it. And then one of the things that Jason told me is to look for that smoke, the color of it. You want something like a very like ghosty blue, and I think that the gray it's just a sign that it's too harsh, it's too strong. So you want it like as close to fumy smoke kind of appearance as possible, to let you know that all that flavor and smoke that's kind of going over whatever you're trying to cook is not going to be so aggressive. And another thing I would say is that a lot of people choose to or to not wrap, so that becomes opinion based. But I would say that wrapping up when it's almost done just kind of insulate it, gives it its final bear hug, and making sure that everything kind of rests together, steams together. And then from there, it's just, it's a matter of opinion. You can take it at that point and then give it a final char for some caramelization, or you can, present it as is, a very tender from surface to the middle to the bottom of just complete flavor. It's kind of hard to keep talking about barbecue without none in front of me, but I think that's going to happen today.
And Alex, talk about how people want to get into, let's say they want to learn how to do some of that the Laotian barbecue. Like, what tips do you give them, and how would they go about it?
Oh, I like this. Yeah.
Well, my best experience has been from failing and messing up a lot. So really, I mean, like everything else, you really got to get your hands in there and really mess up a lot to really learn. Trial and error. I mean, that's the best.
Do you have base flavors and things that you try to use a lot of, or?
We try to use what's local, like native to Laos, lemongrass, kaffir lime.
Okay.
So those components those are kind of our base herbs that we put in there. Have you guys ever had barbecue? Anyone out there besides Jason, Tarik?
I think I had some of Jason's. I want to say I don't even think I had my own.
I want it today. I literally want it today. I sent you a message. I gotta find out.
Yeah, I want some too.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not smoking. It's literally just grilling it, not overcooking it. This past Lao barbecue takeout we had this past Saturday, some lady complained that the ribs are too chewy. And what I always try to explain to people is we were not really going for that, fall off the bone, a tender rib. I mean, we like a little chew to our ribs. It's hard for me to explain it. I'd rather just show you and feed you guys. So maybe one of these days we can all get together, and I'd love to give you guys some of our barbecue.
Well, let's talk about, everybody like, your baby back ribs, like some people use apple cider vinegar, right, for kind of the basting and stuff, but you use fish sauce, correct?
Yeah, so a mixture of fish sauce and soy, brown sugar.
Explain fish sauce. What, for those listening, like what does fish sauce do to the ribs, to your barbecue?
Yeah.
Never tried fish sauce, but you smelled it. You're like, what is this, right? But I promise you, if you marry it with other ingredients, the whole flavor changes everything. It adds a extra kind of like umami, salty, like brownness flavor to it. But you gotta be really careful with it. You can't overwhelm it. But it actually just acts as our salt and on top of some.
Exactly. What is, for those who don't know, like they probably like, what do you mean fish sauce? It's just like people put fish and water together. Like, what is fish sauce exactly?
Basically, fish sauce is just fermented fish. Southeast Asia, they had to find ways to preserve stuff. So, I mean, literally, you take a bunch of fish, you salt it, and just let it ferment for, the longer the better, obviously. But my mom has done it for a year, and it just kind of breaks down into the super concentrated anchovy solution.
Okay.
Alex, what kind of receptacle is she fermenting that in? Just in a plastic bucket or?
A bucket and a lot of salt.
Yeah,
And
okay.
let Mother Nature take its course, really.
Yep.
What kind of fish are you using for that exactly?
Well, back in Laos, a lot of river fish, such as the catfish over there. Over here, we use bluegills, we use carp sometimes.
Oh,
And
wow. Okay.
we kind of had this crazy idea bouncing around with a few partners is how do we make fish sauce out of invasive carp in Wisconsin?
Ooh.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah. My
And
partners,
zebra mussels.
Oh yeah.
but we just got a lot of ideas bouncing back and forth. But if you never had fish sauce, I'd suggest don't use a lot of it. Just taste it as you go.
Yeah, like I'm addicted to it. I got 3 bottles. I got a red boat, I got 3 crabs, and I got another brand I can't remember. There was a 2 crab brand too I had, and I'm addicted to it. I make fish sauce vinaigrette for salad. I make
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Talking about different styles, you're talking Milwaukee's a blend. Have any of you thought about doing something unique and differently of like, oh, maybe I should do this with my brisket, or I should do this with my ribs? Kind of like how Alex kind of took the baby back ribs and kind of added his take on it. Have y'all even like sit there around like, what if I did this to my barbecue? Like try something different, unique that you don't think that ever been tried before? Has anybody thought about that?
Thought about doing a kind of a pastrami technique, a corned beef technique with local beer and pickling spice. And I've kind of tampered around with that, or I may not have. trying to see how the beer and the hops react to the smoke. Like, does it make the meat bitter? Things like that, and ways that I can kind of manipulate the flavor. So it's just all about finding the right beer that I complement it, especially beer that can cook really well, and especially through the amount of time that the meat cooks. So I've been really kind of jumping around with that. So then we could be known for something.
Anybody else have any things they're like thinking in their head, like maybe I should try this?
Well, I would like to learn how to get ribs tender just as Jason with our flavor on it without the smoke overwhelming it. So, I mean, we sous vide it before and put our marinade on it and just finished it on the grill, which was tasty, but the smoke wasn't there. So I'm going to, I message Jason a lot and he gives me a lot of pointers on stuff.
Alex, not to get off the subject, but Alex, your ribs, like she told you, it has some bite to it, but for me, that just helps because you use a lot of sugar in your meat. You don't want to overdo it, you know. So the way you cook it is perfect, man. Like I wouldn't even change it. Like people love it.
Okay.
The reason I asked that, there's a place in Atlanta called Heirloom Barbecue. My daughter is Korean, so it's basically a Korean wife and the husband's from Georgia. So they took their styles, their culinary styles, and blend into a restaurant. So like, you know how people put mustard on the ribs and then the rub? So they do gochujang as the base instead of mustard, and then do the slices. And then they might mix kimchi and greens together. So they might have like the kimchi flavor with collard greens. So that's why I was asking that. So yeah, I was kind of curious about that because like, you know, there's people who because I'm assuming none of you are like, are you purists? Do you frown on people who do that kind of thing? Or do you like, I'm open-minded to anything? So you're not a barbecue purist. So yeah, that's why I asked that question.
No, yeah, I'm not a barbecue purist, I would say.
So, you know, like, how about you, Kevin? You're Texas. Are you consider yourself a purist? Like when you do Texas barbecue?
Well, Allison say I am.
I'm not. I will totally eat them Korean ribs and anything else he got.
You know what? I thought about trying a Korean technique to some of mine. I haven't done it.
He can't take no spice. I don't know who's the. He wouldn't even eat them. And they both go. I'll be all over that. That sounds so good because I like heat. I like Thai chili, all that.
I don't eat it.
If we're experimenting, I would be the one experimenting. He would be like,
well, I think I would try it. Like, but she would be the taste.
Yeah, I think you got a sweet and spicy base there right now, though.
Yeah.
Well, we do a sweet heat chipotle sauce.
Okay.
I like to make it, but I can't taste it. So she makes it. Now I do the regular sauce. I do our blackberry sauce, and then she's doing a blueberry sauce.
Okay.
But the spicy, that's all her.
And then there's another controversy down south about sauce, no sauce. One, I want to get all your like sauce, no sauce answered. Let me know that. And then what's your favorite style of sauce? So let's go back to Kevin Allison. Sauce, no sauce, personal take.
No sauce.
No sauce. None.
If you ever try ours, when you get it, it has no sauce on it unless you ask. You want the sauce, so put the sauce on it.
Because true, 100% true barbecue does not have sauce on it. You add that stuff as me, because there's people that say if your ribs or if your brisket is good, you do not need it. Do not.
So let me guess, you're not a fan of Kansas City barbecue, then?
No, I like it.
I like Kansas City, but I would rather get my meat without the sauce, or give me the choice.
Man, this is interesting.
Give me the choice.
And if you did get a sauce, what kind of sauce do you like? You like a sweet? You like a vinegary?
Sweet sauce.
How about you, Alex? Sauce, no sauce? Then what kind of sauce?
I definitely like no sauce. I prefer no sauce. But if I had to choose a sauce, it'd have to be a balance of sweet and vinegary. I can't do the overly sweet sauce. But yeah, I'm a no sauce kind of guy.
So KC masterpiece? No. How about you, Jarvis?
I want sauce. I want
What-
sauce. I'm not ashamed of it. I want sauce. I want it as an option. If you want me to try it without the sauce, that's fine. I'll do that. But I'm definitely gonna dunk it at some point. I would say that I will say that I had barbecue where I didn't even realize that I didn't use sauce because it was so good. I don't want it necessarily forced on me. I'll try it on the side, and if I forget to dunk it in there, I guess that's more a compliment. But I just like to dunk everything. So I mean, it's just kind of who I am. So I'm definitely sauce. If no sauce is the way to go, I'm for it. But I'm a dunker and a glazer.
Jason, no sauce. Then if you had a sauce, what kind of sauce?
He needs to trademark he's a dunker and a glazer. Always been no sauce person. Even when I was younger, man, I hated sauce on anything. I want to blame my parents for that, but I always like things without sauce, especially barbecue, because you can actually taste the heart and soul the person actually put into their cooking, you know. And for us, our sauce is in the corner, and if you want it, then we'll give you some, but we still won't put it on for you because we want you to at least try this 12-hour cook before you dunk it in the sauce, you know. So it's easy to cover with sauce, you know, as some people may do it. But true barbecue, like Jarvis said, you don't even realize you don't have it, or you have sauce to even dunk with. Dunker, to be a dunker or a glazer.
And then finally, I want to get Jonathan and then Jennifer's no sauce. And what kind of, if they had a sauce, what kind of sauce they like the most or style?
So I'm a no sauce person. I like a good rub. I like the meat to shine too. That's just for my dad. Like my when you smoke a lot of meat and your influence is Eastern North Carolina, that sauce that you use there isn't usually conducive to if you're doing a brisket or if you're doing ribs. Like you don't have like a vinegar-based sauce on that. But if I do have a sauce selection, it's going to be vinegar-based for sure. I do like, obviously, sweet barbecue sauce. I think everyone kind of does. But like if you give me a pulled pork sandwich and you have like the smokiness of the meat and then you have the tang and the vinegar sauce plus like some coleslaw with a little bit of sweetness, like those complex flavors. If I'm on death row, if it's not a bowl of grits, it's that, and then you can let me go, because to me there's just no beating it at all. Just can't touch it. So no sauce, but if sauce, vinegar-based sauce.
Jennifer?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same, like whole hog, chopped barbecue, no sauce. Although I am really interested in trying that barbecue with the wild chain. That sounds like right up my flavor profile. What about you, Tarik?
I'm a no sauce. I'm heavy vinegar. I make my own vinegar sauce. I can't go back. Like I don't like the thick sauce at all. Like I eat it. But somehow the vinegar counteracts the sweetness of the meat, right? But I did have Aaron Franklin's in Texas. He has this espresso sauce with coffee in it. But it was like a vinegary coffee. It was like, that was intense flavor there.
Did you wait that line?
Yeah, I did that. It was probably almost 10 years ago. Waiting that line. They were selling dollar beers while you're in line. And
one day I'll do that.
So yeah, the espresso sauce was really intense. So I have bought instant espresso and added my vinegar sauce. Adds a nice little bite to it. But yeah, I'm a traditionally no sauce rub kind of guy. That's why I always make fun of St. Louis barbecue. It's like they just covering up their mistakes. let's talk about like Milwaukee area barbecue. We mentioned your places. Are there any other people that you like in Milwaukee that you like to give a shout out to who does good barbecue in Milwaukee? Anybody can go.
That's ribs in Waukesha.
Hats.
They're really good.
So PAT.
Yeah.
I'm over here taking notes.
Yeah, I should take a note too.
Related to Oprah, I met her before we talked for a while. She didn't know who I was or anything like that, but I knew who she was because their place been around for a long time and they do a really good job up there.
And she got this really good barbecue sauce called Brown Brown.
Yeah.
You put that on everything.
Anybody else have any shout outs they want to give? People they like that they should check out?
Well, we've got a new, Pops was great, but we've and he came to the BBQ Fest last year. We had Brisket Boys at BBQ Fest last year. They sold out. They had lines,
Brisket
like 20.
Boys is pretty good.
Yeah, but we have a new barbecue vendor at the Fondy Farmers Market this year. Jarvis, you tried their barbecue,
Yeah.
didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I tried it. It was delicious.
Charlie
he was the one I
Pease.
tried. Yeah, I tried the barbecue, and I didn't even realize there was no sauce in the container. I was already done, so it was good. I can't even lie.
So
Didn't miss it.
he's there every Saturday and some Sundays as well. So people
Okay.
can come on down and check them out.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. Charlie Pease,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
One of my mentors, Alex at Firewise. I don't know if you ever had Firewise barbecue, but he does a really, really good job. I know on Thursdays he's at Menards. He's in a food truck. He's at Menards on Miller Parkway on Thursdays at 11. But he taught me a lot too. So, and you have to tell him no sauce because he put sauce on it, but it tastes good without the sauce. So.
And then this is kind of controversial, maybe more towards Jason. Does seafood belong in barbecue?
What kind of?
Just seafood, fish. Does seafood, fish belong in barbecue? I know Jason's answer is.
I don't think so.
Go ahead, Jason.
I don't say I smoked my own salmon on Fridays, and honestly, that's as far as I go with it. But the smoked salmon that we serve is hot, so I don't serve it cold. It's barbecue rub, it's a couple other things, and we smoke it. So I would say if I was to draw the line, it'd be at salmon. It ain't kissed with
no.
So with your salmon, do you cold smoke it?
No, I hot smoke it. It's hot, man. It's hot and fast. So once it's got to that point, and we taking it off. I don't cold smoke it. I don't like cold salmon.
Sounds good to me.
Do you do seafood, Alex?
Yes, I mean, we the main source of protein in Southeast Asia is fish, so I mean that was a primary source of again protein. And my dad and his friends would always throw fish on the grill, but I know I'm in a room full of experts when you say versus grilling. So we were grilling fish growing up, and
Well, I would say because we will do crab legs on the grill. We will smoke crab legs. So I guess that's a yes.
Oh, cool.
That sounds
How about-
good.
So John, do you like seafood on the grill? Smoker, barbecue? Do you like the
Not
idea
really.
of?
I see. So to me, like, the same sort of activity that is smoking or barbecuing, to me is like a low country boil. So you do like, that's like the seafood component to like what barbecuing is. So I grew up with that, where big old pot, a lot of Old Bay, a lot of different seasonings or whatever, corn, potatoes, whole crabs, shrimp, and then one big pot that's emptied out onto a table that's so to me, like if the activity of barbecuing is, smoking and grilling, primarily in my world, pig, and then, beef and certain components. I think that the other side of the coin would be like a low country boil, which would be where seafood kind of has its time to shine. But again, I'm only a purist when it comes to the definition. Like if you're gonna say I do Eastern North Carolina barbecue, like then be in that sort of box. But if you want to be outside of it and exist and do whatever you want to, like don't give yourself a classification, and then you can do whatever you want to do, But I mean, I think there's a lot of people who have spent generations, tuning into certain sorts of, regional styles and becoming, masters within that own style. And so if you're going to be in that, pay respect to them and do that. But if you don't want to put yourself in a box, then do whatever you want to do.
Cool. Got a couple more before you wrap up here. Is there any barbecue restaurant on your bucket list in the country you want to go visit that you haven't, that you like dying? You heard about some famous pit master or somewhere you always want to visit. Is there somewhere you always wanted to go?
I think for me, it's still Franklin's.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Franklin's for sure.
I can't think of the other place where they have the big grilling table and the sausages is hanging from the ceiling and whatnot. I don't even know where it is, but I would say Franklin if I had to give a name, for sure.
I've always wanted to try the Vietnamese barbecue that's rampant all over New Orleans.
Okay.
I don't have the name of the place. I saw it on one of those food culinary programs, but that looks really good to me.
So my bucket list is Rodney Scott.
Yeah.
I met him. He was at Justin Vernon Bon Iver's festival. He was catering it.
Wow.
And I didn't have enough, clout to get his barbecue. So I'm sitting there talking to him on a fence. So I see him on the fence in the VIP area, and I'm like, "Can you sneak me some over, man?" But and I asked him because he normally has the skin chopped up in there, and I go tell him you got the skin? Can I have the crackling? Like, no, I couldn't do it for these people here. I don't think the Wisconsinites wanted the crackling, so he left the crackling out.
I've heard that Franklin only uses salt and pepper on his brisket. And so for it to be as good as folks say it is, I need to try that. Like I need to stand in that 8-hour line, at 110 degrees in Austin, Texas. And I gotta find out. I mean, because they say that it's that good, and it is.
I believe, when I got it. So you get in the line if you don't know. So you get in the line, but you get to the door, they go do you want the lean? They just point at the lean. Or do you want the moist? They pick up the moist about a foot up and drop it. And it just jiggles. And you're like, what do you think I want?
Always moist. Always.
I didn't come all in and get healthy. Oh yeah, that brisket. And I think it's the brisket, the salt and pepper, and the wood he uses. Yeah. I think that's the key, right? It's not just the salt and pepper. It's just how he gets the smoke right and the right wood to complement the pepper and salt. Yeah, you really don't need sauce with it.
Is he getting the same beef as anybody else? Like, are those the same cuts of brisket that he's getting that anybody else can get that has according to what he says, yeah. But I think his key is how he trims it. That's what he says. Is I get the same meat. It's just how I trim it is different. He has an art to his trimming the fat off, so he gets the right proportion of fat during the smoking process, so it melts exactly where he wants it to be. Yeah.
So it's there's skills of the smoke, how he trims it, the salt and pepper, and it's just patience, really.
Yeah. One day I will do that. If the good Lord says yes, I will do that.
The other place I go to is the original, they call it the Mecca of Texas barbecue, Kreutz, Krueuz. It's probably an hour and a half from Austin. It's the original place. Before Franklin, before anybody else. It's been there for pre-Civil War kind of place. That's also a great place to check it out if you go to Texas.
he actually knows his meat provider personally, like the farm that meat comes off of and everything. And what he does, he orders so much, and then whatever he don't want, he sends back. So he's only picking the finest of the finest briskets that are sent to him. Whatever he doesn't like, doesn't look right, he sends it back to the distributor. And the place Jarvis you're thinking about is called Salt Lake.
Okay.
And they smoke a lot of their things beforehand, and then they freeze it. It comes out to that pit. It's pretty much done. The pit is pretty much bringing it to temperature.
Okay.
Another one of the differences between what we're allowed to do here and what they're allowed to do in the South. You can have a stick pit in the middle of your restaurant, you know, in the South, so you can put a whole hog on there, and you know that's what you'll be known for. But here are so many restrictions. We haven't really gotten to that pinnacle yet. You know, it's like just now cracking surface on what we're allowed to do, you know, inside a restaurant. So when it comes to that.
So you hear that, Common Council and Mayor? Jason, you forgot to mention your favorite guy in Atlanta. What's up with him? Talk about him.
Oh, me too, and you told me about. So like, Byron owns Beast Crackling in Atlanta, and he was actually one of the reasons for my job to open this place. And I remember Tarik and I talking about. Tarik brought him up to me, and I'm like, okay, I would like to meet him one day. And I ended up having a job that flew me out to Atlanta for training. And I'm like, man, let me check this place out. And I actually went there 2 minutes before they were about to close, and he was there. I was like, man, where he at? And it was like, he's out in the pit. So I went out there, man. He and I talked for like 3 hours after they were closing everything, and he kind of told me everything that inspired him. And I remember going back to the hotel and calling my wife like, I'm about to quit my job, and she's like, what? I'm not, you know. So we're actually really, really good friends right now. And you know, Tarik, you know, he pretty much helped me to, you know, find out about him, and I actually meet him, you know, after seeing him on the Travel Channel was just something else. So yeah,
he closed in Atlanta, didn't he?
He closed in Atlanta. It burned down in Cobb, but he still has a Savannah location.
He has a Savannah location. That's right.
He's hooked up with Kroger, so he has it in Atlanta. So
yeah. I gotta get him. He's gotta get back open in Atlanta, man.
So Alex, I just want to say, like, you haven't done a brisket yet, Alex, have you?
No, I haven't.
Because I think we talked about doing a brisket. Like, I think that'd be a great collaboration.
Jason, I kind of bounced the idea back and forth about doing an event called Soul Funk, in the sense of fish sauce being funky and obviously soul food. You know, Jason's killing it, so we're doing pretty well. We've been really busy, but hopefully we'll get one in before the summer ends.
So we get like a nice kind of Laotian brisket, hopefully.
Yeah, our brisket ideas, and you know, like our
brisket banh mi.
Yeah,
sign me up right now. I'll be the first one in line.
And let's close out.
Ben Allison be right behind you.
Let's close out with one fun question here. What's your one top favorite barbecue side? Start with you, Kevin and Allison.
Brisket beans.
Jason.
I swear I was trying to think of one fast enough. I would have to say I still like potato salad. I actually, when I did the Stephen Reichland book signing, I fell in love with this. I can't even think of it. Shoot. It was a potato salad that I made, and it was like turmeric and cheese sauce, and it was like really good.
Did it have raisins?
I left the raisins out. I personally cannot do that. I hate it. Like,
it shouldn't be done. Period.
Jarvis, your side.
It's baked beans for sure. I like it with a fresh jalapeno in there, and some chopped smoked meats in there too. But yeah, for sure, baked beans.
Alex.
I'd have to go potato salad and maybe a good homemade mac and cheese.
How about a Laotian side that you like the most?
Papaya salad and sticky rice for sure.
Oh yeah, papaya salad is delicious.
That salad's so good, but it's like spicy.
Yeah.
But I just keep eating it, and I know I'm gonna pay for it later because I just
It's
so
funky
good
too, right?
What's that?
Papaya salad, you got a little funk to it.
Yeah, that's an unfiltered fish sauce we use, so it's super concentrated. Besides
Yeah,
the
I like
actual.
that. I like that.
And then Jonathan, and then Jennifer, your favorite sides.
I'd say hush puppies for me. Nice little supper, goes with the meat well. But potato salad is definitely up there. Potato salad, good potato salad's hard to beat.
Jennifer?
I'm always excited when I see collards on the menu. Jason, you added collards, didn't you?
Oh,
Yeah, I was excited the last time we got it. What's that?
I hate cleaning them.
Yeah. They're a labor of love.
They are a labor of love.
I like a good side of rib tips. That's my side.
Yeah.
I introduce people to hush puppies here. Like most people don't even know what hush puppies are, right? And then some people do hush puppies, and I've had them. They're not good. And the only place I've liked hush puppies here so far, that's done them right, is Long John Silver.
Yeah, it's sad. And listen, you're not lying. You're definitely not lying. I don't even order
Let's
them.
get them to the market. Just kidding.
Well, there's
Not
one
Long
here.
John
There's one on the
Silver.
north side. I brought a whole bucket of them from Long John Silver on the north side to work, and they looked at me like crazy, and they bit into them like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But I haven't had that long. The hush puppies are so fluffy, and they're supposed to be fluffy, and
Yep, they're amazing. And you see them a lot in seafood restaurants down south too, but they go just as well when you pair them with barbecue.
so where do you get your hush puppies from here? You get any
I
here?
don't. I literally don't. There's a lot of stuff I've gone without. There's a lot of stuff I've learned to go without here, which is fine because, you can't really get a great hot dog in Atlanta or, a good sausage in Atlanta, I don't think. But, hush puppies, I just don't get them. But whenever I go home, I get my fill for sure.
Cool.
It's the to-do list here is whole hog and hush puppies, right?
Yes, rooter to the tutor and a bucket of hush puppies. We're good to go.
But I think that does it. Does anybody have anything last thing to add? They want to give a shout out to their place of business, tell them specials, anything you want to add before we go?
Well, I'll be getting out to SapSap sooner than later, and the same thing with you guys over at Juniors. I would love to try that again. I know I've had it when I've been to the Winters Market, but I would like to try SapSap and also get Juniors as well.
Jarvis and Jonathan, you need to join me in pressuring Alex to come to the market.
I would love that.
I've been on him for over a year.
I actually sent Alex a private message in the chat because I was like, where can I get those Laotian ribs today? I need some ribs today, and why not those? Do I have to go to Racine to get them?
1 second. I'll tell you what, if you guys come down tomorrow, we're doing skirt steak on the grill. So
Okay, listen.
I'll take care of you.
That skirt steak is dangerous, man. I have to say.
All
That
right.
skirt steak is so good.
I'm all
But speaking of Alex, somebody talking about SapSap real quick. Are you ever going to plan? Are you still? You've been doing pop-ups, and most people say people who do pop-ups lead to a brick and mortar. Is that, and are you working towards that, or?
That was the goal with we wanted to fill it out at Crossroads, but obviously COVID hit, and it's hard for us to really, without everything going on, if it's the right idea to invest all this money into something that's not promised. So we're sticking with the curb fest because it's been our money maker and less risk taken, for lack of a better word.
Kevin, Allison, you got anything you want to shout out, or what you're working on, what's coming up, anything specials, or?
We're working on some stuff. Don't want to say it yet, but you don't want to curse yourself. But other than that, come on out and see us at Fondy Farmers Market on Saturday morning.
Cool. And
Absolutely.
Jason.
We actually have another location. We're in the process of getting into. I can't tell you where yet, but there'll be some promotion on it soon. So we found another location to kind of make our own, and it's kind of the steps we're going to take. Besides doing the collab with Alex, Alex just needs to move to Milwaukee. I think that's just what he needs to do.
I love Milwaukee too. I know. Yeah, it's weird because we live in Racine, but like our number one supporters are from Milwaukee.
And finally, just let you know, my address is 2772 North Bremen. You can deliver it, leave it. There's a screen door. Just leave it in the screen door, and I could just do a review. And so that's all I have.
And I'm
What's
just
so
a couple
special
blocks
today,
away from. I'm just a couple blocks away from him, so you can stop by my house.
What's so special, Jason? What you got today?
We got the pastrami. I got beef ribs today.
Oh yeah, beef ribs is good, man.
Yeah,
The Fred Flintstone ribs.
Yep.
I don't know how many I got left since this interview, but I know we got them today.
Yeah.
You have pork ribs today too, or no?
We got everything, man. We got it all. We got it
I'll
all
be
for
there.
you, man.
I'll be there today.
And I forgot.
Well, Junior's is closed and SapSap is in Racine, so I'll see you today. I'll see SapSap tomorrow. I'll see Junior's on Saturday.
And I did forget to ask, like, as you know, COVID-19, whatever, has caused meat prices to go up. How's that affected your business? Have you raised your prices? Do you sell less? Like, or has it affected it at all?
I want to say, getting into this industry, you already know whether it's COVID or meat shortage or E. coli, whatever. You know, you have to learn how to adjust to what's ever happening. I think what makes us great is being able to adapt. You know, I had bought a couple cases of pork belly because if brisket would have went up 1 more cent, I was just gonna do pork belly brisket. You know, and you gotta learn how to adjust. We definitely had to raise the price on brisket a little bit during those times, and you know, now I know when my meat guy tells me prices are going up, I need to pack the freezer that week. So, you know, it's just staying ahead of the game.
Anybody else adapted or changed how they did due to the COVID prices, or you've been the same?
But we
stayed the same. We didn't want to pass the price on to the customer, so we just left everything as is and absorbed whatever we had to.
Alex?
Our favorite item took a big hit, which is the jerky when beef prices skyrocketed. But again, it's adapting. I mean, I talked to my butcher. He let me know what was available, give me a sample, and you know, it's taking those offcuts for us too that aren't common. Like we just started doing these riblets from our butcher, and everyone loves them. You know, I've always grown up with using cuts or stuff that wasn't very very popular to the masses. So I'm used to adapting, trying different things.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. I think that's all I have. I'm hungry. So
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Definitely hungry.
You got the address, right?
I'm literally going to Heaven's Table right now. Like, I'm not lying. I'll be there in like 7 minutes.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
We hope to
Sure.
see you all at the
See you
market.
tomorrow, Alex. See y'all this weekend, Kevin and Allison.
Okay, thank you, guys.
All right.
Hey guys.
Bye, y'all.
Yeah. Bye.
How's it going? Sorry. Yes, I have my mask and everything.